What's going on, guys?
Hey, welcome to part 3 of getting started on eBay.
So much fun. So today what we're gonna do is cover all of the woes that you may have about shipping, from literally creating your first shipment to all the supplies that we use to even how to get free shipping supplies. So this is gonna be a lot of fun. We're all gonna participate in this one. And yeah, let's just get into it. All right, so for some reason, everyone's got this idea in their head that shipping on eBay is difficult and like you need to have like some sort of rocket science degree. I'm not sure where all that stemmed from, but I'm gonna just prove to you that is totally wrong. Now, one thing I will say, if you're coming from Poshmark and Mercari to where you don't really have to do any sort of shipping, you just kind of tell them what the item weighs or whatever, this may be a little bit more work than what you're used to. But once you figure this out and once you learn how to ship, you can really save a lot of money over that kind of like flat generic fee that they just charge you for shipping on those other platforms. So jumping into this real quick, what we're gonna show you is gonna be our eBay store. We're not gonna show you our like case study eBay store or eBay account that we just started in the name of this video series, just because we haven't sold anything through there yet. So I wanted to show you guys something that actually like has sold, and we can go through the shipping process real quick one by one and just show you how we can actually do this easily. Jumping in here, the first thing I want to do is go to my eBay or Seller Hub, whichever one you have signed up for. Everyone's going to have my eBay. Not everyone has opted into Seller Hub, so your back end may look a little bit different than ours, but the principle and the premise of this is exactly the same, so just follow along. All we're gonna do is go into tasks where it says we have things to ship here. We're gonna click on our print labels and ship. It's gonna go into this page, which is gonna be the big list of things that have sold that are awaiting shipment. Now on the left-hand side, you can see here awaiting payment. Now that is different. Those items have not been paid for yet, so in fact, they are not ready for shipment. Once those items have been paid for, they'll go into this area and then you can ship them and yada, yada, yada. Okay. You can see we have 14 items so far that have sold for a total of $474. Now I can click this little doohickey and just select every single thing and do the bulk shipping option, which is the best bet if everything, say, is like clothing and it's like first class or priority mail and you don't have to like jump through hoops and like finagle a bunch of boxes and calculate things. It is the best way to get shipping done as like humanly as fast as possible. Now, if you have 20 different like weirdly shaped and weighted items, so like say you're selling vintage electronics and you have like a bunch of amps and guitars and like all this weird stuff, most likely you'll have to go through that one by one and just finagle like versus FedEx and UPS, which is cheaper. But again, if you're doing things that are only going like first class and priority mail and they're just standard shipping rates, super, super fast just to select all of these items at once. Now, doing that as well lets you use the eBay scan form, which makes it easier for your postal person to pick up your packages from home. So, by the way, if you didn't know that, if you are still taking packages to the post office or anywhere, you are outdated and you need to have them come to your house. USPS.com, schedule a pickup, guys. Like the post office will come to you. It's 2020. There's absolutely no reason to go to the post office anymore. So make sure you do that first of all. Don't even worry about any of this video, shipping anything. Make sure the post office is coming to your house. That is the #1 tip, guys. Don't ever go to the post office. Please, 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 if you take anything away from this video, that one thing. Okay, moving on. We're just gonna select this item. We're just gonna, okay. Before we even go any further, we're gonna zoom in here real quick because this is gonna give you a little glimpse into what we're gonna cover tomorrow. So popping in here, I zoomed in on this label. Now you can see in the custom SKU section, it says 5.9, B22, and PFR ENV. Now what that is the first number is 5.9 is what we paid for that item. So we paid $5.90 for that item. B22 is the bin that that item is stored in, okay? PFR ENV is the padded flat rate envelope. One of these guys, that's what that stands for. So we do that because we have an assistant in the Philippines that does our listings for us. He needs that information to transcribe, and it keeps everything in our little ecosystem friendly and connected and talking to each other. So that's why we have the little custom label thing filled out there. That was just a little fun thing I wanted to throw out in this video, just as a teaser for tomorrow's video or next day's video, whenever it comes out, but you get what I mean. So we're gonna go in here, we're gonna collect print shipping label. Okay, we are in the print shipping label page. I had a little computer issue there. Okay, so ship your order. Okay, we're gonna pop into here. First thing I click is carrier packaging. Now, if you're using these free USPS shipping supplies, these are all gonna be pretty much here, except it doesn't look like, they don't have the shoebox here still yet. They updated this. This is a little bit different, but it's still not completely filled out. Okay, so you can go to custom size. This is what most people are gonna be using. Now, pro tip, anything under 16 ounces, that goes first class. You do not have to type in the dimensions for it. All you need is the weight, okay? Anything over 16 ounces, you will need the dimensions. So when it comes to clothing, first class is key. You're gonna make like the most amount of profit if you're shipping items first class. So be sure to like try to stick to that, guys. It really does make a huge difference. Okay, now going into here, it's gonna give you 3 different service options providers. It's gonna be FedEx, UPS, and USPS, which is the post office. Before, they didn't have UPS on here. You had to buy those labels through PayPal or through UPS themselves, but now it's an option. To be quite honest with you, I haven't dove into like checking out USPS rates in a long time just because we don't really ship heavy things anymore. Now, whenever it is like a heavier item, I always go FedEx. FedEx has always worked out for us. It's for the past 3 years, anything heavy has pretty much always gone FedEx. I think in the past 3 years, we've shipped maybe 2 or 3 things via UPS and I just never needed to use them. So this video isn't gonna talk about that. Now, small packages, post office is gonna blow everyone out of the water. Again, FedEx is probably gonna be the cheapest on larger packages, but there are definitely little differences in between each carrier, which we don't really have the time to explain right now. Now, going into additional options, I've never required an additional signature. I've never done any of this, guys. It's all just like extra fluff. You don't need it. Like, unless you're shipping something super expensive, but like still, don't worry about that stuff. Okay, label format. Now this is totally new. Either you can print a label or they can give you a QR code. So at the post office, they'll scan the QR code if you don't have a printer and all that good stuff. I don't suggest doing that. That is a huge waste of anyone that's trying to make money online, like to wait at the post office. That's insane. That's mostly catered towards people that are like not interested in selling anything online ever. They're just doing a few things here and there. You still want to stick to printing labels. So whether it's a Dymo like we have back there, whether you're just using your inkjet printer from home, it doesn't matter, guys. Like, just print the labels from home. There's absolutely no excuse to not do it. We used to use our cell phones to actually print the labels out, and when we didn't have a printer, we actually walked to the FedEx Kinkos across the street to print out labels. So don't make excuses about printing. Printers are cheap. You can get one for 30 bucks at Walmart. You can get a Dymo used on Facebook for like 70 bucks. Just get a printer, pull the Band-Aid, get a thermal printer right off the get-go. Don't even play around with inkjet printers. Like, if you plan on selling more than like 50 to 100 items a month, just buy a thermal printer, guys. Like, I promise you, it is worth the cost. It will save you so much money in ink and time. Like, they print so much faster. Like Dymo thermal printers or whatever the other one, the Rollo or whatever, they are so much faster than an inkjet printer. So that's a side tangent, but we're talking about shipping labels right now, so it is important to note. Okay, now guys, that is really it. There really isn't much more when it comes to shipping. Now, sure, you have to like figure out which is gonna be the cheapest option for this item, but once you get those little like minor details figured out, shipping really isn't that big of a deal. Once you really learn like all jeans can go in the padded flat rate or the legal envelopes, and then most other clothing items just fit in a poly bag, like your life just kind of opened up. Like, it's super, super simple. Again, just people for some reason are scared of it because of how hard it used to be, okay? So I really hope this kind of like alleviated some stresses. Now we're gonna jump to the next part. What we're gonna do is actually show you the shipping supplies that we use every single day and that we have been using for years. So this covered how to actually ship something. Now we're gonna show you what supplies we use. Cheyenne's gonna show you how we actually fit some crazy stuff in that packaging, and then we're gonna wrap this up, guys. So guys, right now we're gonna cover some of our favorite shipping supplies. There's like 8 things in here. We're not gonna spend too much time on any single item. If you do wanna learn more, the blog post will have links and descriptions of this stuff, but jumping straight into it is gonna be bubble wrap. So this is actually from Walmart. It's the Duck brand. This is the 200 feet for $16. We've tried a lot of different bubble wraps over the years, and this has like been our favorite consistently. There's never been a bubble wrap that I have found that has been like better or worth the money or anything else besides this. I really, really, really like this. Again, Walmart will usually have one that has like an extra 50 feet for the same $16. So make sure you look out for that one, okay? Now again, that's a small like bubble. They have larger bubbles, and you can get like 2-for-1 deals at Staples and Office Max. So make sure you look out for those and look for local deals specific to you. Now, if you follow us, you've already seen and heard about this. We've talked about it several times. We have a video about it already, which I'll put up here. There's a blog post as well describing as to why we love this thing so much, but we've had this Accutech scale for over 2.5 years, and guys, we paid less than 30 bucks for this, and it's still kicking. And it's amazing because the screen has a cord on it. So you can put stuff here and have the thing there. You can measure large items, small items. It's just so nice, and for how cheap it is, it's amazing, guys. We love this scale. It's amazing. This is kind of a 2-for-1. So you have to measure clothing anyways if that's what you plan on selling, and to measure boxes and packages, you need to measure a way to measure that stuff. So 2-for-1, tailor's tape. We love these because you swing around your neck, just measure real quick. A lot easier of an experience, a lot cleaner. If you're trying to use like a household like a tape measure, like the metal retractable ones, sometimes on the edges, like they get really, really sharp. So if you're retracting it really fast, you can actually cut yourself. They're just clumsy, they're clunky. It's kind of hard to measure clothing with them, honestly, because it's hard to like press down and make sure you're on the right seam. So we recommend just a soft tailor's tape. There's plenty on Amazon for like $3.99. Like these things are so cheap, guys. They should be in your collection. Fun fact, this is actually used to measure garbage cans. I used to work in sales for a food company, and to sell garbage trash bag liners, we would have to measure the circumference of garbage cans. So that's what this is. Now, moving on is to some free stuff, okay? Everyone that sells online should be aware of this stuff, but if you're new, which I'm assuming you are because you're watching this video, we're gonna talk about these real quick. The links to all these again, and to more free shipping supplies, are gonna be in the blog post, so make sure you check that out. We put a lot of time and effort into this, guys, so just please use that as a resource. Like, we really made that for you. First two things is gonna be the envelopes, okay? So this is the padded one, this is the legal flat rate non-padded. They both serve their purpose. This one is better for clothing sellers because it's cheaper, it's slightly larger, and you don't need padding when you sell clothing. This is great if you have like little kind of knickknacks that aren't fragile, if you have maybe items that are in a box, but you just maybe want to protect them a little bit more. And then also if you want to save on shipping on items that are in boxes that are small but heavy. So say you have like a brick, you want to ship a brick. This would be the best way to ship a brick because you just pop it in here and it goes for the flat rate. So it's absolutely amazing. Besides that, we have these two guys. Now, this is flat rate, this is not flat rate. What that means is that you pay the same $12.80 or $11.80, whatever this is right now. And this is a variable rate depending on where it's shipping and the weight of the item. So this medium flat rate is awesome. This comes in several different sizes. There's an actual box version, but we like the rectangular version of this because it's fantastic for boots. If you have a heavy pair of boots, this is probably going to be one of the best ways to ship them, unless you have access to dimensional shipping, which we'll talk about in a later video, which doesn't pertain to you right now. But yeah, these are amazing. Also, these are great for heavy jackets, like they'll fit in here as well. This box is great if you do sell a lot of shoes. It is the size of a shoebox. That's why it's called a shoebox. We don't particularly ever use this, honestly. Nice to have though. Now, lastly, we're gonna finish this up with bags, and then Cheyenne's gonna actually show you what things fit in certain packaging. So that should be kind of a fun visual reference. But as far as bags are concerned, we keep it really simple. We have 3 different sizes. So starting with this guy is gonna be the large one. I believe this is 19 by 24. This is absolutely phenomenal for jackets, heavy winter things like that, snowsuits. Gotta have a big bag like that on hand. Next, we're gonna talk about this eBay bag, okay? So this I got for free from eBay. So how I did that is because we have a store subscription. If you have a store subscription, you get a quarterly coupon to the eBay shipping supplies store, which has these bags, which has some boxes, has some other little knickknacks that are totally useless. So try to stick to only the good stuff. We'll cover that more later on. But pretty much this bag is just, I believe like a 14-inch bag or something long. Don't remember the exact dimensions, but great bag, nice heavy duty thing. So if you have a store subscription, you're watching this and you're always wondering about eBay's poly bags, they're great quality. I totally recommend them. This is a great size. It's a little bit bigger than the next one we're going to talk about, this 10 by 13, you can kind of see there. So this would be better for pants, sweaters, things like that. Finally, this little guy, 10 by 13, basic gray poly bag. Nothing special, super cheap on Amazon. We do link to an eco-friendly version that an eBay seller sells, but it is a little bit more expensive. Our plan is to be completely like green and eco-friendly, all that stuff within the next year. It's something that we're transitioning to. We've cut out a lot of plastic. We stopped using plastic bags in our shipping stuff as far as like the clear bags. As far as storage stuff. We used to store everything in like clear poly bags. We cut all that out just to save even more. We're trying to do our part, guys. Again, it's not super cheap yet. It's not as easy and user-friendly as it should be. And honestly, like the recycling industry kind of sucks. Most of it's a lie. But we're trying to do our part. We really are, and we hope that you guys do the same. So all that good stuff aside, let's get into the next fun part, which Cheyenne is actually going to show you what things you can fit into this packaging, which should be fun. So let's do that.
You would honestly be so surprised as to what we can fit into each one of these mailers. So I'm gonna go through every single one of these that we use every week and show you really what can fit in these, and then also how to save a little bit of money. So the first one right here, this is a legal flat rate. It's gonna be cheaper than your padded mailer, which we'll get to in a minute. We use these a ton, especially to ship bigger clothing items, sweaters. They've got a little bit more room. I'm gonna open this one actually and show you our favorite way to enclose the item, because these can be a pain in the ass if you don't know what you're doing. So once the item is in there, take the sticky portion off, use your fingers to kind of roll the item backwards, and then all you do is flip it over and it will stick to itself, and that's literally it. If it's a little bit sketchy, you're not like, I'm not sure if that's gonna stay or not, just put a piece of tape around it, it'll be totally fine. So that is the padded flat rate. No, sorry, legal flat rate. Onto the padded flat rate though. These are great. These are great for just really simple items that don't need a whole lot of protection. The only thing that we have in here is a pair of bummy old shoes. I'll show you. And once again, you would look at this and be like, you can't fit a pair of shoes in there. You sure can fit a pair of shoes in there, baby. But if you have like, let's say you found a pair of Yeezys or something, don't ship them in here. Use a shoebox, make it look nice. I mean, these are a totally different story, but anyways, padded mailers, these are great. And on to the next, we have a 10 by 13 poly mailer. We use these the most for shipping clothes. You would be surprised at like what can fit in here too. So in here we have a whole North Face puffer. For these ones, my biggest tip would be to roll the item like this. And do you remember when you were kids, like when you would roll a sleeping bag? It's kind of the same concept with these clothes. The smaller you can get the item before you put it in the bag, the better. Make sure that this is not gonna be bigger than your opening, and you'll be in a good position. So 10 by 13 poly bag. So next we have our medium flat rate. This one's great because it ships for under $12, and you can fit some big items in here. So things we put in these are like big jackets, big boots, really any of like your heavy items. You can see that I have a giant pair of boots in here. The way that I have found that's easiest to ship these, well, I guess to put them in the box, it's the same as like a shoe box. So you want to, it's like Tetris, right? Create a puzzle with the boots. You're gonna want them to go in like this. So if you fit them in that way, they're gonna go super easy, and they're not gonna jet out a ton. When you do have big boots like these though, same thing that I told you with the padded flat rate, right? Wrap a piece of tape around it if you think it's kind of sketchy. These boots are obviously huge, so when I had them in there, the box was protruding a bit from the top. It probably would have been fine, but it really doesn't take a whole lot of time just to make sure it's extra secure. Put a piece of tape on it, good to go. So this is our 19 by 24 poly mailer. These are for really big, like heavy duty items. You can see I've got like a military coat in here. You might think when you first start, like there's no way I can fit this item in this poly mailer. The bag is ripping, it's a pain in the ass. Here is a little trick to help get the item in the bag without ripping it and totally compromising it. So what I like to do is I like to take the very bottom of the bag and wrinkle it up around the item as far as it can go. So now you see I have a ton of slack here, right? And I can easily pull the item. And be gentle. Sometimes like you have to be patient, but you're saving, sorry guys, we have a teething baby. This is real life. But it's gonna save you money if you know how to utilize your mailers. So this is a great way to do that. And you can see, even though this is huge, we were able to fit it in just fine. So now we're gonna go over here. We're going to measure everything and weigh it and show you what to do next. The next two things are very important because they could either save you a lot of money or cost you a lot of money. So the things that eBay is going to want from you next are 3 measurements. You're gonna wanna measure the width, the height, and then the length of your package. Once you're done with that, we're gonna pop it on over here on this scale. Guys, this scale rocks. Like a lot of shipping scales that you see either have like the measurement on the side or right on the top, which like, when your package is right here, it's not helpful at all. It's super annoying. So what's great is it shows me the weight right here and it's got this nifty little bungee cord. We wrote an entire blog post about this scale because we're that obsessed with it. So anyways, now we're going to weigh the item. We've got 5 pounds, 2.8 ounces. And if you lie on your measurements, if you lie on your weight, the post office will catch you and they will say, pay up baby. So make sure these 2 things are accurate and it'll save you a big headache.
We do is to help our shipping person out, create a scan form. All this is a simple sheet that tells the postal person how many packages are in this certain lot of items. So all the post office has to do is come here, scan this one single barcode. Instead of scanning 30 individual items that may be going out that day, they get to do this, dump it into the truck, and they're on their way. It saves them so much time, guys, and it only takes you like 2 seconds to do this. Like literally, the amount of time that this saves a postal person is so drastic that you need to be doing this. Like if you're shipping over 10 items, it will save them the amount of time that it will take you to do this. So do that, say thank you, be nice to your postal guy, woman, whatever they are. Make it easy for them to pick up packages from you. The last thing you want is for them to dread coming to your house every day. You don't want to be that person, so go out of your way to be nice. So that was a lot.
It was a lot, but we genuinely hope that you found it helpful, and we're going to be working on part 4 here pretty soon, which, guys, we have a teething baby. This is real life.
This is some real life stuff. You don't pay for this. This is all free content, so that's why you have to deal with the baby.
That's why you get a teething baby, because we gotta deal with it too.
When you pay for the course, you won't have the teething baby videos unless you want to pay for those as well. You can have those. But besides that, take a course at reselljunkie.com. Make sure you like and subscribe this video because it really, really does help our small channel grow. Stay tuned for the rest of the series and make sure you follow us at reselljunkie_ at Instagram.
Till next time.
Cheers.